Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, of course, we wish the best for the former president's health. And, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery. Look, I will say, whether the right time to have this conversation is now or at some point in the future, we really do need to be honest about whether the former president was capable of doing the job.
It was a deep internal reflection. I do not see that happening. I see people, rather than reorganizing, rethinking. Center for American Progress took off in 2005 and came up with a new set of ideas for Democrats. That has to happen. Before we get out here and start trying to tell people why they should like us, we need to look in the mirror, reorganize ourselves, get bad people and bad ideas out of the way, and then we'll be able to come forward in the midterms. But right now, we need to apologize to the American people that we were part of something that wasn't on the up and up.
You said you've been up crying about Joe Biden. You said it's almost as if Jake Tapper figured out it would be more financially lucrative to write about the out-of-office guy who he blames for helping elect a rapist, traitor, felon than it would be to write about the actual in-office rapist, traitor, felon. Thank you. I mean, I was already losing my shizzle, Joe, about the Biden bashing going on before this diagnosis. And apparently the answer is no, we're not going to leave him alone. You saw Don Jr.'s despicable tweet about, they just throw it right into the cover-up story. And is Jill Biden covering up, blah, 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 as if she's a medical doctor, right?
Right. And these are the same people who lost their minds over some seashells in the sand, Steph. They lost their minds over seashells in the sand, but now they're going down these horrible rabbit holes where they're accusing human beings of covering up a human being's dire medical condition. To what end, I'm not really sure. Yeah. That's the 4D chess part I don't understand. But the hypocrisy with them, it is just goes to 11, and they constantly reveal their most awful selves, don't they?
Yeah. No, I mean, it just that we've skipped the being human part. Sorry. Particularly with what his family's been through. It's I don't even know what to say anymore about Jake Tapper's book. Right? Boy, he thought he needed Olivia Pope last week. Now he really needs crisis PR. Right? I mean, who wants to read on Joe Biden book now? Like, really? Can you leave him alone now?
Right. He should be enjoying his time out of the spotlight. He's been in a public service for 50 plus years. Let the man have some peace. But instead, they've been dragging him like they were vultures. And I looked at Jake Tapper's feed today to see if he weighed in on this. And conveniently, he went from posting garbage book tweets to reposting other people sending their wishes to Joe Biden, but never sent well wishes himself, because he knows how that would look. How would that look for Jake Tapper to suddenly pivot from dragging this poor man, instead of paying attention to the insane evil idiot at the helm, and then all of a sudden, best wishes. Jake, that ship has sailed. Everybody would be calling him out on it, and that's why he doesn't have the nerve to do it.
Well, and we were saying now the media has made this into some kind of litmus test for 2028 Democrats, right? Is you got to, kick Joe Biden in the D, right? Yeah. And say, we made a mistake. And, again, Jojo, can you tell me how there was a cover up? The media did a story about Biden is old every friggin' 12 seconds.
They did.
Who was covering up? We know he's old. We know he was gaffe prone before he was old. Like, other than the normal aging process, what was the cover up exactly?
Well, yes, that, and it's completely disingenuous, because Jake Tapper's talking about how Biden's doctor said he would need a wheelchair in his next term, but that's not true. They said he would need a wheelchair if he fell down and got hurt at his age. Who wouldn't, by the way, need a wheelchair if they fell down and got hurt?
Well, and we saw him on his bike last week.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
And I have that incredible pleasure, honest privilege and honor of meeting him a few times. I met him in 2022. I met him again in 2023. And then I met him twice in 2024. And I will say, yes, he was slower in his step, but he was as sharp as a tack. And I'll fight anybody. I will go to my grave on that hill, because the man was not cognitively impaired ever when I interacted with him. He stood and talked to me and a group of creators for almost 40 minutes.
Yeah, you know who else said that and couldn't say enough about how great he was Lindy Lee. Anyway, let's...
Jeff. Oh, girl. Lindy.
Newman. Anyway.
Lindy.
But I just, Jody and I keep saying we were at that fundraiser in L.A. with George Clooney, and unless we're crazy, we're like going, we thought the same thing. He was fine. He was funny.
Yeah.
He was, sharp with what do you call it? He was just on The View. And I thought he did. I just am like, yes, he's old. I get it. His voice sounds older. But again, as someone said, Jojo, show me the decision he did or the presidential whatever that showed he was impaired in any way. And he did not have one of the most successful presidencies ever.
Thank you. I couldn't scream that from the mountaintop, Steph, because that's the thing that drives me crazy. They kept saying, oh, well, he's impaired. He can't do the job. Okay, so let's point to the things where he didn't do the job. Because, by the way, he passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill. He passed, huge legislation. I was at several of the signings, by the way, at the, Marriage Equality Act, etc. He was an incredibly consequential president. He did that while everyone was saying, oh, he's not really at the helm. We should worry. What's he going to do? He's going to steer us over the edge of a cliff. But he never did. In the meantime, you got a moron, melon-hued Messiah madman who's tweeting about arresting Bono? Like, what the heck? And we're not talking about that? We're still talking about Biden? And any elected official on the Democratic side who's going on a TV hit right now to diagnose what went wrong in 2024 is a fool. Yeah. We're done. We're done. It happened. Let it go. Yeah. Don't look back. You're not going that way. Look forward. That's what you should be talking about. That's what Chris Murphy is so focused on. He's so good at this because he is a messenger for what is wrong now and what they can be doing in the future. Yeah.
I mean, I was saying, I really appreciate people like J.B. Pritzker who are not are participating in the Biden bashing. That are just, I mean, again, he can be forgiven for thinking he had the, best record of any president practically ever and decided he wanted to keep going. Like, what? And Jojo, I asked the question earlier, what were Democrats supposed to do? It was, it was up to Joe Biden. I mean, yes, we can now in hindsight go, oh, well, maybe he made a mistake and maybe he should have decided earlier not to run again and we had a primary this, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? If my aunt had a... Stephanie Miller. Sorry, if my aunt had a... She'd be my uncle. Okay, I just like that joke. Okay.
Right. But and where were all of them? Where were they when what's-his-face was trying to primary him and they were like, no, we're one party, we're unified. Where was Nancy Pelosi then? Where were their voices calling for Joe Biden to step aside and not seek a second term then? They all jumped on the bandwagon post-debate, which was in June. Yeah. June, Bren. Right. June.
And our friend Lawrence O'Donnell always said it's too late. There's no one has ever won in history that got out this late. I mean, if you want to coulda, shoulda with me, Joe, we should have all stuck behind him like the maggots do for anything this demented lunatic does, right? We should have. I mean, Kamala only lost by a point and change. Like, I think we could have gotten him over the finish line. And then
I agree.
And then, if he decided to step down, we would have had President Kamala Harris, which is, would have been the best outcome.
I mean, this is the cult that will tell you to cry harder because our credit rating got downgraded by Moody's. I mean, they will support him on anything he does, no matter if defund child cancer. Yeah, that's right. We're going to own those libs. Like, anything he does, they line up behind. But Joe Biden couldn't tie his shoes wrong, where they were like, oh, he's senile, he has to go. And we're still bashing him. Yeah. To this day, he's not the president anymore. It's not his economy anymore. These are not his policies anymore.
And I saw you called out. It's just they're such idiot barking seals. You're right. Like, whatever he says when he's like, Walmart, eat the tariffs. I mean, you called it out you're like, wait now, did you just give up the whole game? Because you said China pays the tariffs, making trillions of dollars. Like, really? Why would Walmart have to? I thought that was the whole point, is our American businesses and consumers don't pay the tariffs, right? And he just blew that up, right?
They don't care. They don't even care. They will still put the dancing gif of the double jerk and twist in my replies. They'll still put that in my replies when he does something that is clearly, observably, factually terrible for our country. It's the craziest thing. Like, I'm like, you are a cult. You recognize this, right? You have to understand this. Yeah. That he's hurting you. He's hurting you, and he's getting richer. Well, they call it the big bad bill for billionaires, not the big beautiful bill. It's the big bad bill for billionaires, because that's what it is. And he's hurting his own voters more than anyone. Hello, Kentucky. Hello, tornadoes. He doesn't care. I don't even think he's responding.
He hasn't said anything about it. And obvious it's the gutting of FEMA and the Weather Service that they didn't have any warning. And no, again, how many times can we say measles up, planes down? Like how Moody's downgraded us. We've been put on the Human Rights Watch list for the first time ever. What more? What did they actually need locusts? And then they'd be like, "Oh, he has sent us new protein." I don't know. Whatever he's gonna.
So much winning, Steph. Are you sick of it?
Yeah, I am. I am really sick of it. And we were saying about these creepy big pictures of him. You know, like dear leader in North Korea, you know, that he's hung in Washington. Give me a 14. We were talking about I heard a montage of one of the cabinet meetings. I mean, seriously, Kim Jong-un is even like, oh, dude, geez, come on. I mean, this is Stephen Witkoff.
Look, John, we had direct negotiations in Istanbul. Mm-hmm. There were some good achievements made, including the release of hostages. We have to get to a ceasefire. That's the president's position, and we all agree with that position. And most importantly, we have to get to a final peace deal. And the president has a force of personality that is unmatched. I think it's important. His sensibilities are that he's got to get on the phone with President Putin, and that is going to clear up some of the logjam and get us to the place that we need to get to. And I think it's going to be a very successful call.
You know who else had a force of personality, Jody?
Hitler?
Yes. Hitler's always the correct answer.
Yeah, I call Trump Timu Hitler now.
I mean, seriously, his negotiating with Putin is the equivalent of Vladimir, stop. It's like that's where we're at. He's a joke.
Didn't he say he was going to end that war on day one?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
I don't know, but it doesn't feel like it's day one.
Yeah. Oh, hey there, it's Stephanie Miller. If you're like me and you love sharp political insight, you know, pointy, you like it pointy and sharp, bold opinions, and a touch of humor to make sense of these crazy times, have I got some fantastic news for you. The Political Voices Network is now on Substack. This is your new go-to for the best in independent media. We're talking about my show streaming daily with episodes on demand, the fearless of journalism of Brian Karem, the brilliant side-splitting satire of John Fugelsang, the unrelenting working class advocacy of Rick Smith, and so much more. Here's the best part. Subscribing is so easy. You can join for free or go to the extra mile. Support these incredible independent voices by signing up for a full subscription starting at just $8. You'll get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and a chance to directly fuel fearless, unfiltered media. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Hit that subscribe button and become part of the movement keeping truth alive in an era of corporate media overload. Every subscription helps, especially yours. One more time, that is politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Sign up now. Do it.